Hello, welcome to the hatchetjob.com gaming netcast. Now, recently I've been trying to teach some card games to people, and I've had a bit of difficulty because they aren't people that are familiar with gaming in general. The genre I've been trying to teach is a type of game called a deck building game. And the reason I think people found it hard to understand is because deck building games, their mechanics really run counter to what most people imagine a card game to be about. So ignore these cards at the top for a moment. In a normal card game, taking this, you'll have a deck of cards and you'll either draw from them or a dealer will give them to you. And of course, the deck is shuffled, so you draw randomly. So for example, in card game X, I would draw 2 cards like that. I would decide what to do with them, whether to play them or not, and if I did play them, essentially they would be removed from the game. I wouldn't have them anymore. So in regular card games, more often than not, what happens is you are dealt or draw cards at random. You have no choice over what appears, and once you play them, you get rid of them. So the decisions you go through are, should I play this now or not? Deck building games are different. In a deck building game, there are cards laid out at the beginning of the game or that appear during the game, and more important than that is that you choose which cards to take. So I'll take you through a abstracted version of a deck building game turn. So we start the game and I have some black cards here that you can see I have 6 cards. And so what I would do is I would shuffle my cards up, put half of them here, and then this half would become my hand for that turn. Now this is what's called the draw pile. So I've got my hand here, and in deck building games, to buy cards you have to have currency. So let's say that these cards are my currency, and it costs me 3 blacks to buy 1 red, and I want to buy a red. So what I do is I just take the red, because I don't get rid of my cards when I buy something. I keep my cards. I don't have to get rid of anything. So imagine going into a newsagent's or a sandwich shop and saying, I'd like this magazine or that sandwich, please. And then you show the person at the counter that you have the money to buy it, and they go, cool, now I know you've got the money, you can just take it away with you. So once I've played my cards and I bought my stuff, I put these over here, and then this becomes the discard pile, okay? It's a bit like getting rid of your cards in a normal game, except I'll get to use them again later. So let's imagine that the turn goes round again. It comes back to me. I take my draw pile, and I lay it out, or I draw the number of cards that I need. This is then my hand for the turn. I decide to buy another red. So I take the red, put it into here, put it into my discard pile. Now, of course, I don't have a draw pile here. I've got no cards to pick up. So what I do is I take my discard pile, and I shuffle it all together, like so, and I'll deal myself 3 cards at random, like this, and then this becomes my draw pile. Okay, so now I bought some reds because I wanted to have them, but none have appeared. So I decided to buy the last red, put it in here, into my discard pile, draw 3 more from my draw pile, like so, and then the game continues. And so you might have guessed already that what happens in deck building games is I don't get rid of cards, I'm constantly buying them. And I'm buying the cards in the hope that they will appear. Of course, I draw them randomly, but I know what is in my pool. So it's like going back into that sandwich shop and you buy a load of sandwiches, and then you put them in your fridge, and when you take them out of the fridge, you don't look at what you're taking out. You know that you bought a bacon sandwich and a cheese sandwich and an egg sandwich, but you don't know which one you'll get out. Hopefully you'll get the bacon, you might get the cheese. So that's kind of how it works here. You buy things during the game, you know what you're buying, and then you keep on building up your hand, and then you mix it all up, and throughout the game, you draw from what you bought in previous turns, and hopefully it'll be the stuff you wanted. And so the risk isn't that you're discarding something, the risk is that you're trying to manage what you need in terms of the game strategy versus the chance to buy it. And of course, in games people will be able to interact with you, so maybe they'll take cards away from you, or maybe they'll force you to buy something else. This is just really an explanation of how you acquire cards in the game and why it's different from a standard stereotypical card game. There we are, the basics of a deck building game.